The people that are coming in busy.
Ngathi nayo phumile. Hi, Matt.
Hello, Kaliso.
Live YouTube. Hi. Are we
Hello.
live?
Yeah, we are
Can
recording onto YouTube because we
you
don't
hear
have
us?
space. I can. Can
Oh,
you
we
hear
don't.
me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see us, Matt?
Not yet.
Fixing this. None.
Oh, Bengalanda. There we are.
Now I can.
Oh, I'm getting an issue. That's another thing. To
No
show
pills
that
or
the
later camera.
chat.
My boobs.
So let's sign in. Let's sign in.
Hello. So Matt, I wanted to ask that can you please do the usual? Keep the people busy there.
Where?
Those that are online.
Okay, no stress.
Because I saw Nkosazana. I don't know if you saw Nkosazana. This camera is.
Yeah, she logged in, or that person logged in, and they were still connecting to the audio, and then they
Oh, so
dropped
she
out.
couldn't connect. All right.
So
This camera is weird. I don't know where the camera is sitting on this computer. So okay,
Okay.
but but they are bringing my charger. So as soon as my charger is available, I'll connect.
All right, no stress.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
Okay. Well, they got Black Friday on Friday, but I've been kind of running around doing whatever you need. Yeah, yeah.
Is this the tennis player?
Yes. Good. My little Black Friday fish though. Whoa. Enjoy once again. Thank you. Are you ready? Yes, basically, I'm a good man. I'm mine. You guys, you don't really see me, but yeah, oh, I get it. You just basically switch one stuff and yeah, we need to be listening there. Oh, where's the stuff? Yeah, I know. I don't worry. I know. I've been sick, so I'm like, oh, goodness. Well, I hope it gets better soon. I'll make it better. Yeah. Yeah, still needs twice. Good.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
No. Hello.
Yes, yeah.
Because people like ours. We'll get somebody else there. I have one question.
Matt? Hi, Matt.
So Lisa,
Hi, how is, can you, okay.
I'm not sure if it's on my side. I can't really hear you.
Can you hear me now?
So Lisa, can you try speaking again? I missed you earlier.
little bit behind with the technology. If you can just give me another 10 minutes, so it's 10 past, I'll start. We do have a tight schedule, so yeah, we're trying to keep us on point as possible. Thank you. She is that one is over here. Hello, 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 hello. Is that?
We've lost the laptop with our camera.
Matt, can you hear me?
I can, might need to project a little bit louder, but I can hear your sound coming through.
Okay. I actually don't know which microphone it's coming through. I don't know if it's this one, that one over there, or my PC. So you got a new little gizmo. That's cool.
It's probably one that's a little bit far because it's slightly distorted and soft.
Yeah, that's okay. I want to fix that. Give me a sec.
How many microphones do you have working today? I see your lips moving, but there's no sound coming through.
That one. How about that one? No, that's my microphone. That's more. No, try another one. I'll try this one over here. No, let's try the up spot. Yeah, we'll just have to project into this microphone over here. Yeah, I'll be testing this one over here. That'll be fine. Okay, cool, happy.
Yeah, sound is clear. Just need to project.
Lovely. Okay. Okay, and that's done. 1 minute to spare. Okay. Chrissy? Right on time. Okay. Give it a shot. Anyway, how's the morning? Full room today. Hey, this is nice. Yeah. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Dina. Good. So, thank you, so. We are got more guests than normal today. Happy about that. So, I just want to go over some rules. The chaos that's happening now shouldn't be happening. Thanks. Matt, do you know the thing for the Zoom account, please? Can you just help me out there?
What would you like?
Pin for the Zoom account.
418.
Yeah.
418613.
613. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dino Lupini. I'm the Vice President of Education for our club. And I'll be having different roles today. But the one I'm holding right now is called Sergeant at Arms, which basically calls to order the room. Now the president's not catching a hint. And I'll be basically just kicking off the meeting. So just some general information. Please switch off your cell phones or put it on silent. Then across the hall is the bathrooms. You need to run out there. It's the ladies to the left, men to the right. Car park right out there. Anybody smoke? No? Shame. Embarrassed. Okay. Yeah, we're going to smoke outside there, but it's a construction site at the moment. Perfectly apt for smokers. And anything else that I have to bring up? Breakfast is not on the house today. Yeah, we'll have to just tap. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, man. Business. So that's pretty much quick start breakfast are 55 rand. And if there's a coffee,
There's a price list in there.
there's the breakfast menu that is there. Cool. Thank you very much. Happy with that? Thank you. Okay. With that, if everyone has registered, the register is in the back, and then I will be taking that food menu across to the kitchen so that we can eat. I think we're going to be eating only at 10 past 10. Okay, and present. Yeah. Just another thing I would like to know, has all the speakers, we got speakers this morning, such as so Matthew. I had a fourth speaker. Has everybody handed over their evaluation sheets to the necessary people? Give it to me. Okay, okay. And you, okay. Lovely. Matt, you are going to be evaluating. Matthew. Okay, cool. And then I only had 3 evaluators. Chrissy's going to be evaluating Bryanston. Can you just message her your evaluation things, please? And then Matt, you're going to do also SOSOs, please. So guys, with Matthew online, please can you just make sure that you are projecting your voice. The microphone is in this location. Okay, that'll best help your recordings going further forward. Yeah, Matthew, just to double check, you're online and you're happy. You happy with that arrangement?
Yeah, I'll just wait for Soso's evaluation form. I have received Matthew's evaluation form.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, with that, I would like to start the meeting. I would like to welcome to the front our Madam President, Bruce. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to Bryanston Breakfast Toastmasters Club. It is our pleasure to have you here with us. We hope that you will enjoy the meeting this morning. I can see that we have guests in our meeting today. I'm gonna ask you to briefly tell us about yourself, maybe 30 seconds, and tell us where you heard about BBTM. I'm gonna start with Michaela. Can you please stand and tell us who you are?
Hello, my name is Michaela. I found out about Toastmasters online for some form of get together, not just for the sake, developing communication skills, because I'm noticing when you try and get a point across, it's not a commonly spoken about point. There's a way of articulating yourself. But we heard how to just practice this, how do I get the message across in an effective manner? So yeah, I came across online, and this is my first physical presence here. Thank you.
Thank you for visiting us again, and I'm gonna ask Kim if you understand.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kim. So I've recently taken up some sort of emceeing at the office, and Ophelia, my colleague, always comes up and commends me, but deep down I'm a nervous person, and I get worked up, and so I break everything up, brave face, but deep down. So we joined Toastmasters not so long ago, and she's like, "Come try it out," and here I am, because I like trying out. Thank you.
The nerves are always there. We just work with them. I still get nervous sometimes, most of the times. I'm gonna ask, sorry, okay, I'm gonna ask Devin.
So how I was to my part is told me that this would be for us to just learn this together, explore all the things.
Thank you. I'll tell you this, you came to the right place. This is the platform where we learn from each other, we make mistakes, we correct each other. Just like swimming and driving a car. You cannot do it just by looking. You have to come up here and do it. You learn by practice. I am now going to hand over to the Toastmaster of the day, Mr. VPM.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dino, the Toastmaster of the day.
You. Morning, everybody, again. So, we're gonna have lots of fun today. I hope, I pray, because Toastmaster is a very integral role within Toastmasters. It's in the name of the club, and it is basically a role that integrates all the different facets of Toastmasters and makes it. I'm going to try my best to actually roll out everything succinctly so that we all have a good time. And kind of like at the end of the day, you'd be like, okay, it all made sense in my head that I came here today. And so just to break down what we do here today, because there's quite a few newbies here. The program is broken up into 3 time slots. So the first time slot will be prepared speakers. This is whereby people have actually been putting together a speech, practicing it, and will be presenting it today. Then the second time slot will be a I love my voice, but not that much. So the second time slot would be impromptu speaking, which basically we'll be having Belasela putting together a topic and asking people to come and answer her questions or whatever her genre is today. Then lastly, we'll be having the prepared speaker's speech will be evaluated by an evaluator. We'll be giving constructive feedback on their specific speech. And then we pretty much wrap it up. So that is the general construct of today's meeting. And I'm going to try my best to pull it all together that we are finished by 11 o'clock. It's only going to be probably 10 past, probably put past. Hopefully nobody runs through that door at 11 saying, leave the room. Okay. So I'm fortunate enough to be blessed with having to pick the theme of today, and trying to think what I wrote on the freedom and change. The theme of today is freedom and change. And to be honest, I'm actually thrown off completely because the one book I wanted to actually present today, I could not find. It was the book written by it's Atomic Habits. The name eludes me at the moment. It's kind of out there at the moment. And it is a book that I did my Toastmasters presentation at the beginning of this year. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up again is because it's a book of basically how do you improve your life, create the habits that you want to have. So pretty much have good habits you want and kind of get rid of the bad ones you don't need. And the reason why I wanted to redo that book is because why do we always need to do something new? I would like to know in this room, who's when I say do it yourself, self-help. Who likes to go to self-help sections in the bookstores? Yeah, yes. Right? Whenever you walk into a bookstore. And Matt, can I ask you, like, why is there any reason why that section attracts you?
Quantitative routes every day.
Yeah.
It's about routes most days.
Absolutely. So it's like when, to be honest, when I walk in that aisle, it is the prospects and the possibilities of improving yourself. And so Michaela, just from your side, any recent self-help book that you would like to showcase? You're like, this is the book.
The last one was as a man thinker. As a man thinker. So,
As a man thinker.
yeah.
Ah,
Well, it's man as a person thinker.
yeah. No, I get you. It wouldn't have worked if it's a woman thinker.
What's
Yeah.
fine.
Clearly not work. Clearly. Okay, cool. So that's my premise for today. I would like to just to talk about self-help in general, and basically some books that I have at home, grabbed out, the things that jumped out of me. I would like to just talk about them throughout today in different time slots. But with that, this meeting is going to be chaired. You're not going to hear my voice all the time, and there's a lot going on in this meeting. So I've got a lot of participants and a lot of helpers. So I would like to just go through the list. And let me start off with Madam Timekeeper, Rafiwe. Can you just tell me what your role as timekeeper and why it's so important?
Okay, the Toastmasters and yes. As timer, I will be taking the topic speakers, formal speeches, as well as presentation. And then I will give an alert for each speaker of the time that they have left using the green card, the yellow card as amber, and the red card to show that you probably for your time. So for the table topics, 1 minute indicates that you are halfway through your speech, and I will give the green card. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card, and then at 2 minutes, I will raise the red card, giving an indication that this speeches are up to the end, and then the cards are a limit to different cards that we've got left. At 4 minutes for the speeches, I will raise the blue card. At 5 minutes, I will raise the yellow card, and then at 6 minutes, I will raise the red card. And then at 5 minutes, I will raise the green card for other speeches. And 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. So for the individual evaluations, it should be between 2 to 3 minutes length. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, it will put a yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. So it just so icebreaker speeches should be 4 to 6 minutes long, and other speeches should be 5
If you were to just to point out, that speech is 10 to 15 minutes.
Well, it's essentially a 5 to 7 minute speech, but it's going to be throughout the piece. That's less time.
So just with that, how would you like the time allocation? Should we only show green at 10, or do you want it also at 5, 6, 7? Thank you very much. Next, as I mentioned, table topics. Alicia, can you just tell me about your role and responsibility as the table topics master?
So the table topics of responsibility, everyone goes and practicing on to speak without very some on to speak, so how to do it on to speak. Talking for a brief amount of time, working whatever needs to be adapted to condition that that will be my work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then the grammarian. Something, can you tell me about your role and responsibility as grammarian?
you, Mr. Toastmaster. And Toastmasters and guests in the room and online. My role today as the grammarian is to pay close attention to all the speakers, everybody, whether prepared or not. Listening carefully to their use of the language, which is English. I also take note of any misuse of the English language, as well as any outstanding words that we have used, quotations, sayings, etc. As grammarian, it's also my privilege to introduce the word of the day. The word of the day today is scrumptious. So, unfortunately, the only meaning there relates to food, and it means extremely tasty. An example of the word in a sentence is a scrumptious chocolate tart. So each speaker, everybody speaking today is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will also give it a report at the end of the meeting. On the grammatic, on the use of the word of the day, and also the grammatical research when I'm called upon to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Then we have a role called the R counter. Who will be playing that role? Are you going to do both? Yeah, just straight. We do have a role that basically counts the fillers within somebody's speech. I don't know if you see in the back there would like to participate in it. Would like to try out? Yeah, thank you. So basically your role and responsibilities is that whilst the prepared speakers, well, whoever's standing on top here at the lectern, they will be presenting. I would like you just to actively listen to what they're saying. And we have this thing in the English language, well, all languages, whereby we have a train of thought and we just want to bridge the gap between the two thoughts, and then you have this filler. And what I do a lot is, and I grab that thought and I keep on talking. Instead of just stopping, breathing, and then moving on, we use those fillers. So a lot of fillers that people use are so, like, what are those? But, like, you know, well, so there's a list of things out there. So can I ask you just to list the speakers' names and then just have a count every time someone does that. And then at the end of the day, I'll ask you for a report. If you can just say, this person did that, or you like this word a lot, and you can identify specific words that people keep doing over and over again. And when your block is completely black, just tell me, you know, you've done it. Okay. Thank you for that, Stephen. Thank you. Now we have another role called the evaluating chair. Matt, I think I've nominated you as the evaluation chair. Can you just tell me about what your role is?
Thanks. Toast. Morning, everyone. My role as evaluation chair is, it says, I should be chairing the evaluation session of our Toastmaster evaluators giving feedback, and I will be calling upon them to deliver that feedback to the members. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thanks, Matt. So, Matt, your signal does seem a little bit weak. So let's just watch out with your video, because the audio came through, but it was a little bit jittery. That's the role. It's, yeah. Thank you. Lovely. So that's my team that will be helping us out. Thank you for participating in it. And another role, responsibility for me is to make sure that everything falls in on time. Okay. Let's get on to some self-help books that I was able to grab on the way out to our meeting today. So the four that I grabbed One of them wasn't the Bible. Very. It's one of the. It was in the drawer. Okay, so got the servant. The simple story about the true essence of leadership. Then I've got the 4-hour work week. I love this guy, Tim Ferriss, who really likes working 40 hours a week. Not a chance. Then the stillness is key by Ryan Holiday, and then another old Paulio, the alchemist. Is there a theme amongst all those books? I'll tell you at the end. But let's just start with start off with the easy one. Tim Ferriss, a 4-hour work week. Reason why this book I was drawn to generally the title of it, because I don't know if has everybody known about the book. Anyone heard about it? 1, 2, no. You haven't heard about a book that could change your work life. Clearly, you people are employees, and you're in the rat race. You get out of the rat race. Okay. So the 4-hour work week is exactly that. It basically talks about how you don't necessarily have to work hard all the time. You just work smart. You'll be able to get the same results. And so essentially, if you use this philosophy for your side hustle, it can actually pull out some amazing results. But I'm actually trying to adopt this philosophy in my working life, and my boss doesn't really agree to that, but that's his problem. Yeah. So the book is an amazing inspiration, because it's Tim talks about how his journey from, I think it was written in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. And he just talks about how he developed the product and put it onto Amazon, and then started selling it that route, and then started honing what the customer actually wanted, and just pretty much how much money he made, the amount of effort he put in. And yeah, the reason why I'm actually grinding you people with regards to being employees is some employers want you there for 40 hours. But he wasn't. One story he's written in here, he was a cleaner of the kitchen. And pretty much he came in early, was able to clean the entire kitchen within an hour. And the rest of the time he'd go sit back and read his comics and relax. But his employer would come in and shout at him, say, why isn't he working? And he's like, but everything's clean. Why must I keep on cleaning? I've reached the bare minimum. But he's done it. So then that's the whole sentiment. If you work smart, you don't have to keep on working yourself to the bone. You've done the job. So that, yeah, it's the basic essence of it. Okay. Spoken enough. Would like to welcome our first speaker, which will be Soso. Soso, can your evaluator is Matthew, can you please tell us the objectives of Soso's speech?
Yes, Mr. Toastmaster.
Over to you, Matthew.
Thank you. Soso will be delivering his icebreaker speech today. For those that are new to Toastmasters, your icebreaker speech is the first speech that any member gives when they first come into the club. The purpose of the icebreaker speech is for the member to introduce themselves to the club, as well as learn the basic structure of a public speech. Soso has been a member of the club for a long time, and we've been anticipating his icebreaker speech. So we're definitely looking forward to this one. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Right. Please welcome to the front. Who is Soso?
It's morning, everyone. I trust everyone is feeling scrumptious today. The sun is out. It's a good day. So my name is Soso Masakane, and today I'm just going to be telling you a bit about myself and who is Soso. So I'm going to take it from back then when I was so young. I had so much energy that my mom decided it was time for me to go to daycare at a very, very young age. I also became too much for the daycare, so they pushed me through to grade R, 2 years ahead of my time. And then when it was time for me to graduate, my mom was like, no, I'm still a bit too young, so I took to grade R again. But then the second time around, the teachers were like, look, we have to push him through. He's done all the basics that he needs. So then I went to grade 1, a year ahead of my peers, and grade 1 to grade 3 was quite lucky. I had 2 cousins who are the same age as me, and oh boy, the havoc it caused at school. Anytime one of us was in a fight, the other 2 would rush, wherever we were on the playground, would just come through and make sure that no one messed with us. And then unfortunately in grade 4, we had to go our separate ways. I had to come all the way from the Eastern Cape to Limpopo to a school called Cambodia School. And grade 4 was a breeze. I adjusted well, and then I don't know what happened in grade 5. I just started feeling homesick, and I was it wasn't as enjoyable as it used to be in grade 4. So then I had to move back to the Eastern Cape, and that's when I went to Graham College, my home. And from then on, so I just felt at home. From grade 6, the people that I was with went through all the way to the trip together. And what I remember is that every Saturday, we knew that after breakfast, we'd be watching Super Rugby, a full game. And then after the game was finished, we'd go play touch rugby and imitate all the moves we had seen during the game. Then we'd go to lunch. After lunch, we'd play contact in the swimming pool. And it was wonderful because the water would help you with my big guys that were running through. You could easily take them down, easily hand them off. And it was just a wonderful time. And until this day, the people that I was with in school still talk, even though I haven't seen some of them in 5 years. But every now and then I'll just get a random call just to check up how things are going. And then fast forward to 2017. Now that I was a year ahead of the time, when it came to rugby, we had something that we called open because they had 14 and 15 and 16 and open. The problem now became that I was 17 in the trip, so I did not get my full year of first team rugby kind of scene. I was competing with people that were 90 years old, and I was 17. So I wanted to propose the trick, but luckily my sister and my mom spoke me out of it. And I think the reason I wanted to propose the trick is that I struggled to get out of my comfort zone. And that's why I embarked on this journey, so I can get out of the comfort zone. Thank you so much.
So. I'm trying to do the math quickly.
It's 2 minutes.
No, not that math. The math is Graham's College, and then our rugby captain. Graham. Oh, come on, tell us that story. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, because then I was like, that's why he wants to play first team rugby. He wants to tackle that guy once or twice. Thank you for that. Okay. I would like to welcome our next evaluator to the front for Sasha's speech. And please come to the front to invite Sasha's first speech.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Our next speaker is Sasha Singh. Sasha is doing her icebreaker, as you all know, like Sosa. This is her first debate speech. And the purpose of the speech is for her to introduce herself to the club and also learn the basic structure of her speech, of the public speech. Now, the title of Sasha's speech is The Heimlich and the Sweet Pea. Heimlich and the Sweet Pea. Sasha Singh. Sasha Singh, the Heimlich and the Sweet Pea.
for the Toastmasters and yes. Today I will be presenting my icebreaker speech to you. And for those who don't already know me, my name is Sasha. I'm going to share with you a very personal story which is very close to my heart. And essentially, it was a moment that defined me as an individual, and it was also a moment that highlighted my core values. So, as a person, I'm an absolute animal lover, like a pure advocate soul. And in 2011, I lost two fur babies on the same day, and I was completely devastated. Soon, I came to understand what was the meaning and the importance of time. I so happened to be at the SPCA, and I was acquainted with the cutest little toy farm. To my dismay, and despite her vibrant personality, she had already been adopted and her new owner would collect her soon. So they had noticed that if I wanted to leave my details, I could, but I was not going to get her. Anyways, I took the chance, I left my details, and soon after, I was contacted with a call saying that if I wanted her, I can still take her because she was never collected. So it came time to fetch her. She was terrified, I was terrified, and I remember saying to her, "It's okay, little buddy. It's fine to be scared because I'm scared all the time too." Which was soon. She endured the worst type of cruelty, and that was abuse for fun. She was dumped, and both her forelimbs were dislocated. So our first night, she spent literally hiding behind my curtains. And I understood. But I understood why. And I was determined to make sure that she would never be alone ever again. And I understood that the commitment that I was making to keep my promise to her and to ensure that we would build the foundational layers of both trust and respect to ensure consistent behavior going forward. The morning came and she was violently ill. So back to the SPCA we went. When we got there, they noted that she was in the late stages of parvovirus and she was not going to make it through the next 24 hours. She had internal bleeding, and the best thing that I could possibly do for her is let her be put out of her pain and let them prep her to be put down. I still remember looking at her and seeing the look in her eyes in that moment. And it was almost like she was saying to me, "Please don't leave me here. I don't want to be alone again. And I'm scared." In that moment, I made a decision, which I would remain dedicated to by all means. I was certain she could do it if we put 200% behind her recovery. And she needed me, and she required my help. And after all, I did make a promise. It didn't matter if it was made the day prior. The fact remains that it was made. Fast forward 12 years. This little soul defied all odds. Even though everything was stacked against her, she had the willpower and the determination to make it through. And honestly, I have no idea how we did it, but we did it. And as people, I think that we tend to underestimate our ability to affect positive change within ourselves and within the environments around us. And most defining moments are measured by its success or its failure, and the fear of either outcome. For me, I realized that timing is not something that can be controlled. Events happen naturally. And much like my journey with Scraps, it was meant to be. But a required action was necessitated, and it was a pivotal turning point. A key component being the ability to commit towards taking a first step, regardless of how terrified you might be. This is a wholehearted promise that you make to yourself, as this highlights your own reliability and your personal integrity. Making a decision is great, but consistency reflects not only your strength, but your determination and your willpower to ensure that you honor it fully, regardless of the outcome. To conclude, I think we know that it's not always smooth sailing. And just the other day, Scraps, or what I thought was happening, was that she was choking on a sweet pea. So as I put her into the Heimlich position, I realized that she was wriggling out of it, not because she was choking, but because she wanted to get back to her scrumptious veggies. And I realized at that moment that it was okay to choke, much like how I'm doing now in my icebreaker speech. It's just another hurdle, and it's okay. The ability to persevere in your moments of fear, show the commitments that you make to yourself. And for me, that fear was joining Toastmasters. That is my fear. My ability to verbally communicate is something that stresses me beyond belief. To fight my anxiety and to help me build my confidence is the reason why I'm standing here today. And I'm here, persevering, as I take my first step in Toastmasters. Thank you.
So who's going to unlock the door in the back there? Okay. Personal. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, the two icebreakers. I finally locked them down, locked them on their journey. Excellent. Yo, that was a tough, very tough one. Oh, that's actually showing that one. Excellent. What did you call them? The fur? Fur babies. Yeah. Those stand. It's very emotional, very quick. Thank you very much. Okay. Just quickly. Breakfast.
It's what up this time?
10:15. 10:10. Okay. I know. Second, Matt, have your disturbances been allocated?
Yes.
Yes, they have. No, but they are. I've just been informed. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. I don't like things being stuck into my PC. Company policy. Yeah, I trust you to stick it in somewhere else. Okay, we email it. Do you have it as an email copy? No. I'll check it. Just check it on my laptop, please. Thank you very much. Okay, so with that, okay, I'll scan it, check it. Okay, with that, our next speaker will be Carissa, and the evaluator is Chrissy. Chrissy, please come up and tell us about Carissa's speech. How are you going to be evaluated?
Good morning. Back. Right, this morning I'm writing a speech on our Madam President. And she's actually, the part is innovative planning. And she's on level 3 in the speech number 3. The title of the speech is Something Under My Bed. The purpose of the speech is for the member to practice using a story within a speech, or giving a speech that is a story. Fellow Toastmasters, let's welcome our Madam President for a speech.
We all have heard a story or two when we were younger. A Cinderella story, the Beauty and the Beast, Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, how can I forget the Goldilocks and the 3 birds? Story times were one of the precious moments we have in my family. I grew up in my maternal grandparents' household. My grandmother introduced me to storytelling. She would tell us stories like Izim nonoma hambe, the carnival and the young. Umbidyo, the skinny one. Ujagalashe, no balls. Yes, you guessed it right. The Jacob and many others. In winter, we would sit around my grandmother's coal burning stove and take turns in telling the stories we heard from the elders. We did that in a euphoric way. Little did I know that a time will come when I feature in a story. Many, many years ago, one evening in summertime, I went to bed a happy teenager. Throughout the night, I slept like a baby until the early hours of morning. The sun had just risen. While half asleep, I turned my body over. With my eyes slightly opened, I realized that my body was at the edge of the bed. I looked to see how close I was from falling to the ground. Instead, my eyes saw a brown haired creature with fluffy fur. My heart pounded with fear, thinking to myself, should I jump off the bed and run out of the room? No, it might catch you. Slowly turned my body over and covered myself with blankets. I screamed. My screams were loud enough for the neighbors, to wake the neighbors. Or the thing under my bed. After my second scream, my grandmother hurriedly came to my room. She shouted, "You don't!" Immediately after, my younger brother and younger cousin raced to my room. They also shouted, "When's the cantoni?" What's happening? With so much fear and panic in my voice, I answered, "Betty, there is something." Slowly, I covered. They were all standing by the door. My younger brother and younger cousin each were holding a stick. My grandmother turned and walked back to her. My brother shook his head and followed my grandmother. My younger cousin brother rushed towards the bed. The cowed creature and said, "We've been looking for you." The cowed brown creature with fluffy fur was a few days old puppy dog, which they got as a gift from their friend the day before that morning. Mr. Toastmaster.
The storybooks for sure. Okay. God. Hair on the back of my neck is standing up, and I'm thinking I've had a story where lying in bed on my back, and then I roll over my eyes. I also open up gently. My thing wasn't lying underneath the bed. Mine was standing next to me. I guess. Yeah. One of those dreams that you're like completely stuck, you can't move, can't shut. Ugh. I know exactly that feeling, but oh, lucky little beasts. Very much. That's the way. But that 10 o'clock. So Tandika, everybody's in the right place. Yeah. Isn't it? Okay, lovely. That's just double check. Thank you. Okay, with that, I would like to welcome Matt's evaluator up to the front. Matt, can you please tell us the objectives of Matthew's speech today? What is he going to be trying to do?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Matthew's task is called Managing a Difficult Audience. One of my favorite movie scenes is from Ted Lasso, where he's a new coach and he's sitting in front of a press conference. And as he's delivering his speech to the press, they are just hammering him with questions of his credibility, questions of everything that he's delivering on. Today, Matthew is going to be our very own Ted Lasso. For this speech, Matthew will be delivering the 5 to 7 minute speech, and in the audience, there will be what we call disruptors. The purpose of the disruptors is to disrupt Matthew as he's delivering his speech. Matthew's task is to try and maintain professionalism while respecting the audience as well as continuing his speech. As his evaluator, I will be looking at his ability to manage the audience's objection, as well as how he manages the pre-assigned disruptors in this group. For the audience, it is going to be chaotic, and Matthew does not know who his disruptors are. Matthew, I'm looking forward to hearing your speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Matthew with his speech title, Reclaiming Conversation. Reclaiming Conversation, Matthew.
Master Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and visitors. So that was me all the way back in 2018. I've been a member of Toastmasters since 2017, and initially my objective, like everyone else, was to be able to give effective presentations and good speeches to an audience. As I started to get involved in Toastmasters a lot more, I found something quite interesting, is that my ability to converse with people started to improve.
Sorry, Matt, was it 2017 or 2018? Sorry.
It was 2017. And just for the rest of the audience, you can, if you have any questions, you can just ask them at the end. Okay. So that's me in 2018. And when you start to go to different clubs, you speak to a lot of different members, guests, visitors, you have conversations during break, and your conversation skills start to improve. Dina, can you switch to the slides? I read an interesting book recently, since we're on the books of self-help and development and that. And it was by Sherry Turkle. And she's a communication researcher and expert, and I think she's a professor at Harvard or something. And she wrote an interesting book called Reclaiming Conversation. And basically the book talks about how we're losing the ability to have conversations with other people. So, Monica?
I'm sorry. He also mentioned the book
just talk a little bit loud?
Fellow.
Paulo Coelho.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
No, this one you're talking about.
Yeah.
The good book, eh? Fantastic.
I've read that book as well by Paulo Coelho. If you want to ask me afterwards what I thought about it, when my credential welcome, come chat to me. So in this book, Sherry goes into the importance of conversation. And Dino, can you switch to the next slide, please? And she speaks about 3 chairs. So the first chair is solitude, the second chair is for friendship, and the third chair is for society. So it's a quote by Henry David Thoreau. I had 3 chairs in my house, 1 for solitude, 2 for friendship, 3 for society. And the book is broken into those sections, which goes into each. Okay, so chair 1, solitude. But you must be wondering, if we're talking about conversation, why would we be talking about solitude? Why does that improve how we converse with people? And I think first you must make the so can just keep chatting to you after the presentation. So I think the first thing is we must distinguish between loneliness and solitude. Okay, so loneliness is an evolutionary response to your need for social connection. So it's not a good thing when you're lonely. I'm sure we've all felt lonely at times and you go seek out a friend or a family member or someone to talk to. Solitude is different. Solitude is it's a choice activity, something that you decide to take part in when you are reading a book, when you are meditating, when you are going to the gym and working out by yourself. So it's a choice that you make. And the reason why solitude is important is because it helps you gather your thoughts and it helps you deal with your thoughts and endure a bit of boredom. And weirdly enough, from Sherry's research, she's found that actually moments of solitude make you better at communication with others. Okay, so that's chair 1.
I see a picture with one picture on the left. It's one person in the left, that's the other person. So how is it like
That's true. So yeah, loneliness is, as I said, it's not something that's good for people, which is why it's an evolutionary thing in us to go and seek connection. Where solitude, you're also alone by yourself. And it's a good point you make. With solitude, you can also be doing something with someone else. You don't have to be engaging in conversation. You can just be with someone. You don't need to fill the space with talk and chat. Does that answer your question? We'll get to it at the end. You store and show. Okay, okay, cool. Next slide. So in order to feel more like ourselves, we connect. But in our rush to connect, we flee solitude. In time, our ability to be separate and gather ourselves is diminished. If we don't know who we are when we are alone, we turn to other people to support our sense of self. So that's a big thing. Refuel it and just you can chat after the presentation. And that's that last sentence there. If we don't know who we are when we are alone, we turn to other people to support our sense of self. So that's a big thing. We've lost our ability to actually connect with who we are and what we're about. And then people will grab onto the next person to kind of support who they are instead of knowing who they are. That's nice. Okay, cool. So chair 2 is friends, family, and partners. Okay, is this a familiar picture? Has anyone seen this? When you're out at a restaurant or you're out somewhere, you'll see a group of people sitting at a table and they're all on their phones, sharing a meal, and you're together. So it's fun. But are they together really? or they're somewhere else at the moment. And a big part of Sherry's book is she talks about the way our devices, our cell phones, our laptops, the apps on our phones are kind of making us very atomized. And we're with each other, as Dino said, but are we actually with the people that we're with? Because that's what a device does. It takes you somewhere else. And
But you
actually,
just said solitude. You can be with people, but then not engage with them.
that's in that case, you by yourself. Okay, an argument for this is that you have a device with you. So, and the research shows
I'm not wrong.
it's if the purpose of you for you is to enjoy the company of others, are you really enjoying the company of others when you sleep on the phone all the time? Okay, we'll open that discussion at the end. And so Sherry goes into the big impact of devices on our lives. And this has been a short time span. I think the first smartphone came out in 2008, 2007. So maybe 2023 now, so it's 16 years, I'd say, we've had smartphones. And the impact on how we communicate has been substantial. Do you go to the next slide, please? Okay, so chair 3 is society. And once again, another familiar picture. And I'll give you some context around why I chose this one. I taught English for 2 years in South Korea. And South Korea is very technologically advanced country. Is your big brands like Samsung, LG, and many other things. And what you'll find is when you're on a subway in South Korea, is everyone's on their phone. There's Wi-Fi access everywhere. You don't need to struggle to access the internet, to access your apps, stay in touch with people. But what was striking is just how, it's people are on their phone, and I'm a bit come from an older generation where I know what it's like to be without a phone. Those moments where you actually can't look at your phone when you're bored, you can't look at your phone when you're uncomfortable. Perhaps you're in a room with people and you don't have your phone to quickly grab onto and check. And it was amazing just how I saw this, and especially with young kids as well, because I was teaching 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, and they all have phones at that age. And you don't see them interacting with their friends or playing, because they have a phone that they can quickly pick up and play the next latest game, go and watch YouTube for another hour. And
Sorry, speaking of which.
Gabriel, can we just have all of our phones in silence? So if you can check your phone, just make sure that it's in silence for the remainder of the speech, and then we'll check it afterwards. Thank you. So the last chair 3, society. So this is basically what the whole book builds up to, is this big fracture within society that we're having because of the way we communicate. And if you can go to the next slide, please. Is the last 3 points that kind of come across as Sherry's main arguments for why conversation is important. So the first one is we lived in a very atomized society. Is we don't interact as much as we used to, say, 20, 30, 40 years ago. We're very insular in the things we do and the people and the lives we live. So that's the first thing. The second, obviously, is the basic loss of conversation skills. So can you walk into a room and hold a simple conversation with someone? Or do you get that overwhelming anxiety where you can't do it? Even in an environment like this where we're all doing the same thing, makes it a bit easier. But can you do that? Just walk into a room like this and go and speak to someone.
But isn't that kind of like an introvert and extrovert? Like, are you telling me that I've lost my communication skills because I'm an introvert?
It's a good point. And I think what I could say to that is that I'm naturally introverted and I'm nervous. And my reasons for joining Toastmasters was to actually get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because I found it difficult to talk to people. And this was the main reason why I joined Toastmasters. So I can understand what you're saying, you know, as where extroverted people are, I find it easier to go and speak to someone. But what I would say from my 6 years being in Toastmasters is that I'm introverted and I've made it work somehow. So it's not a case that you have to be extroverted to go and talk to someone. You kind of need to find where your happy medium is and then work with that. And then
But I also see that avoid
can we put a pin in that? And just hold that thought. I'm almost finished. I'll make my third point. Okay, so the very last one is the decline in empathy. And this was a big find for Sherry and her research team. And I think researchers that she's worked with is that they did a study amongst college students and students that go to university. And they found this massive decline in empathy among students. Why that's an issue is if you can't empathize with one another, then we're on a rocky road in terms of being able to be cohesive and actually build relationships and build societies together. So that was her very last important point in the Toastmasters.
I think everything that went wrong did go wrong.
Yeah.
Well then that I would have so behind me just you wanted to throw something at these two. Cool. Excellent job there. So with that, I would like to running a little bit behind. It's breakfast has arrived for those who ordered. I would like to run straight into break, but before we do that, I would like the timekeeper please to come to the front and just share with us the times.
Mr. Toastmaster. I think firstly I'd like to apologize to Soso and Sasha. I used the timing for 10 topics instead of icebreaker. But I think Sasha, because she's used to being the time, I think she got on that something is wrong there because she just kept on going. So apologies. Hopefully you'll get a chance to do your speech again. Okay. So those icebreaker speech, it was supposed to be between 4 to 6 minutes. I think I kind of rushed him. So he did it in 2 minutes, 20 seconds. And Sasha's icebreaker speech is supposed to be between 4 and 6 minutes, and she did it in 7 minutes, 22 seconds. Utswa's speech is supposed to be between 5 and 7 minutes, and she did it between 5 and 54 minutes. Matthew did ask that his speech should be between 10 and 15 minutes, and he was within the time because his speech was 13 minutes, 15 seconds.
And the two icebreakers together. Okay. Okay. With that, I would like to call Matt. We are going to have a break for 15 minutes whilst we enjoy breakfast. I would recommend the evaluators to find a spot outside and maybe just connect with Matt online on Sunday if it's possible. Yeah, so it's Sunday cameras. Please do that. Whilst we can enjoy breakfast. Yeah, I think it's cool. With that, I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. 25-2. Thanks.
Hi, Mitch. Mitch and Div.
Yeah, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Tandeka, I can hear you. I was just on the phone with Loliso.
Oh, sorry. So, I'm trying to figure out how do we
I'm gonna turn off, I'm gonna mute. Hey,
should I take this laptop or must we do it on the phone?
take we can do it over the phone, or if you can take the laptop, whichever one works.
So how do I
Take do the phone. We'll do the phone.
the phone? Okay.
Yeah.
apart from tracing it.
Okay. I hope you all enjoyed your scrumptious little treats there for breakfast. Okay. I'll get into another book quickly. Okay. Given away one book already. I tend to give you books away. Anyway. Okay, I would like to talk about the polio book that Tandeka brought up in Matt's speech. The Alchemist. A lovely book. I enjoyed. I only came across it recently. It's a worldwide phenomena, written 56 different languages. But it basically, the premise is that we all got a specific potential in us, and only if you go out and search for it, you'll be able to find out what that gem actually is. So I'll give an example myself, and it is one of those that I worked for a company that I moved out, and I started working in a different company, and it was weird that the different structures between the two different companies, I was like, wow, that company had so many processes in place to protect and take care of the individuals. But then I looked at the other company, I'm like, oh no, wait. It's actually so sheltered in that environment, it actually doesn't depict the real world. An example is that the one company was in a compound which didn't have to deal with the fire department. Whilst this other company is, I actually have to go to Primrose and go see the chief fire marshal, and I have to kind of negotiate why we haven't got specific fire protection systems in place. And I have to kind of negotiate a plan on how we're going to put that in place. And it's just from those discussions, you kind of, I was only able to see that these two different changes because I had that move and I was able to have that experience within my life. So he has this shepherd that goes on his amazing journey to find his gem. So it's very reflective, quite a reflective book. With that, I'd like to hand over to our table topics master for the morning, and I would like you all to participate. And just to help the table topic master, please, can you just give the newcomers a shot, but please do not throw them into the deep end when the word go. Okay. Just highlighting to you, you are going to participate. Okay, with that, we'd like to welcome Valentina to the mic. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I am the Balasela, the table topics
Master.
Sorry. So in alignment with the theme that you picked today, so it's freedom and change, right? So what I will do is, so I'll just give the definitions, and then, but what I want is for people that didn't participate today, I'll quickly pick people that didn't participate, and it's just use your imagination. Please embody the definition of freedom and change, and then just make it fun for yourself. So speak to it however you want to speak to it. And then what I'll do is I've got 6 topics in here. So I'll just make it a raffle. You just gonna pick. So I won't, and then I'll read out the question that you picked and you embody that question. Here, so the definition of freedom is the power or the right to act, speak, or think as one wants. Again, freedom is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants. And then change has 2 definitions. So it can be one, to make someone or something different, or to alter or modify. The second one could be to replace something with something else. Again, the definition of change. So it could be to make someone or something different, or to change, alter it, or to replace something with something else. Thank you. Move my phone.
The board reading.
That's going to depend on the topic. Oh, just move these around. Yep. And maybe start with Kim.
I said no, pick someone, pick Chrissy. She's on her phone, she's bored. Like chatting on VPN. Yeah.
Using your imagination. Use your imagination.
Sorry, she's the master. Right.
Pick anything. Then I'll read it out. Here's for Kim's topic. Okay. It says, give us an example of what freedom and change means to you. What does that mean?
Greetings everyone. Change is expression, change is choice, change is thinking out the box, change is colorful, change is beautiful, change can be scary, change can be liberating, change can be scary, fearful.
Give us a story, give us a story.
So a personal story. I recently moved jobs. I took it upon myself to throw myself into the deep end. I'm a sports marketer and have been a sports marketer for about 12 years. Then because I feel I want to progress as a marketer, I delved into corporate. And as I mentioned about expression and freedom, and I now do a regular 8 to 5. I sit behind the desk every day. I'm forced to wear corporate clothing. It's very uncomfortable, but the people around me have made it easy, and I've learned to adapt, and I think my personality allows me to adapt in that environment. Thank you.
Well done, well done.
I think so, Shem, because your
Yeah.
speech was a bit short, so to give you another chance.
Nice, well done, well done.
Also preparing for the conference. Yeah.
Very for the, is it next year?
Next year, March.
Oh my. Okay. Okay, so. It's a bit difficult. So it says, tell us about a change you want to see in your life or in the world.
So a change I want to see in my life or in the world. I think we can use the current events that are happening in the world, with all the wars, the fighting. I think that's one thing I would like to see change, because it seems like a very vicious cycle where there will be peace for 1 or 2 years, then the tensions build up again, then the war start all over again. I think that's something that the world definitely needs to change. That's the first thing I would like to change. The second one, I think also people need to be more kind, especially in the world. When you go out now, you see someone bump with an old person and then just continue walking with no care in the world. They don't look back. I think each and every one of us just has to be kinder, especially to people that you see that they need kindness, because you don't know what the person is going through, and you just adding one to it, and you don't know if that's going to be the final story in the person's life. So I think that we should really be careful about how we interact with people on a daily basis, be mindful, be humble again. Also with the arrogance, everyone's big-headed now. You get to the traffic lights, I believe that I should go first because I'm in the big car. You see all of these things that are happening in the world. I think if those things change, then as they add on, the wars will also start to become less and less because everyone's just kinder.
name two people. I'm Evan because Michaela is participating in something. Yes.
Do it. No.
Okay, so this is an interesting one, right? So it says, imagine you are an art student. Please draw something for us and tell us about your drawing. So I brought a, you can draw whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to draw, right? On here, you can even start.
Don't actually draw it now.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
just quickly, whatever you want to draw, and then you tell us about it. Give it to one.
Want somebody else to go whilst he draws.
Whatever, freedom of expression, whatever comes to your mind, anything you can explain.
So I want to ask, and maybe also just to build on what Sosu just said now about us being more friendly with each other. It really does help. But how are we going to just want something if we're not able to become this change? And become friendly first before I can attract them. So yeah, I think we just need to build on that, and hopefully we can all become better people through that. Okay.
Show us your.
By drawing.
I love it.
Thank you for that. And again,
Last one.
let's see, the last one. But not just really roles. I think Chrissy, you don't have too many roles today. The last one. Let's see. So let's see. Okay. So I've got a tree here. So it's just typically a tree symbolizes or represents life and growth in storybooks or books of stories. What else could a tree represent, Chrissy, in your life?
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, okay. Tree in my life represents well, a lot of things, but I would say it represents herbs. You know, herbs. You can do anything with herbs. I mean, some people now, like of late, people prefer taking herbs instead of medication. You know, the medication from the pharmaceuticals. So people have resorted to taking herbs. So I would say, in that regard, trees are so important that they do heal us mentally, physically, and physically, as in having trees also at home. Like, I mean, you should come to my place. I mean, my plants and my home is just great. So it is really, they are so helpful in so many ways. So.
Sorry.
The time back. The last one, the time had to move by.
No, sorry.
Thank you, everyone.
I do apologize for rushing that. There you go. Applause for our table topics master. Thank you very much. But to be honest, if a white piece of paper comes in front of me or a chalkboard and they say draw something, I literally freeze on that. So what I actually do is that I just scribble like this, and then you look at it and like, okay, cool. Maybe a parrot, a papagaya, something like that. It jumps out at you. I actually like drawing with my daughter. It's like one of those things that she's busy doing. Okay, cool. Can make a little cartoon character. That's me in art. Lovely. Just to carry on the theme for useful books, the stillness is key. Ryan Holiday, he is an individual that's, I think he bases a lot of his principles on Stoicism. I think that's the, sorry, pronounce it. But this specific book is written about how you need to control your mind, spirit, and body. It's kind of like get those all aligned, and you'll be a happiest person. And it's just he's got like good little principles. It's actually quite a good user's manual book to get those aligned and become a better person. Now, with that, to become a better speaker, we need to be evaluated on the way that we have presented. So I would like to welcome Matthew, our evaluation chair, to actually be able to coordinate the evaluation session. Matt, are you there?
I am. Thank you very much, Dino. I'm going to try and have my camera on and see. Just let me know how my sound. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. We're still good. Perfect.
Yeah.
We have now reached a very important part of our meeting, and we're going to try and shoot through this as quickly as possible while still giving effective feedback. For this section of the meeting, we are going to be giving evaluation/feedback to all 4 of our speakers today. I'd like to start off by calling our first evaluator who evaluated Soso's speech, and that would be yours truly. Please help me welcome Matthew to the stage. This never gets old. All right. Soso. Who is Soso? The icebreaker speech, Soso, is one of the most important speeches, and it introduces us to who you are as the speaker. What I really loved about your speech today was the format that you chose to use. You chose to tell us your life story in the form of a timeline, from when you were young and too much energy to get kicked to daycare, and all of the way to your high school. I loved the timeline format. The second thing that I really loved about your speech was how humorous it was when you opened up. You know, I've never heard anybody say I had too much energy, so my parents sent me to daycare. Daycare found out I was too much, so they sent me to the next level. I thought that was really, really funny. Humor is always a great way to engage your audience. But despite having a great opening and having a nice timeline format for your speech, one thing that took away was I felt as though you were just listing points in your journey. I would have loved for you to expand more on the different areas of your life. For example, I heard something about when you were playing rugby. I would have loved to hear a little bit more about your journey, while playing rugby, as opposed to you just listing everything else. I think one of the reasons that fueled you to just list everything was the speed at which you were talking. Your story timeline format was great, but you were rushing through it. It felt like you were rapping through it. And I've seen you deliver table topics. So I know how engaging they can be, how calm you are on stage. But today, I felt like you were trying to rap your way through this one. So as a recommendation for future, I would like you to slow down with your stories, take breaths, be mindful of your hand gestures, and expand on the different areas. It's not enough for you to just list everything. Try and give us a little bit more flesh so that we can enjoy your scrumptious speech. Right, with that said, I will now hand back over to our general evaluator, who will call on to our next evaluator. Thank you very much, Matthew. Great evaluation. Handing over to our next evaluator, who gave us our evaluation for, correct me if I'm not wrong, our next speaker was Sasha. And our evaluator for Sasha was Tandeka. Tandeka, could you please come and give us feedback? Please help me welcome Tandeka.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluation Chair. fellow Toastmasters. And Sasha. Thank you so much for your speech. I really enjoyed the speech. And since this was your first speech, it really gave us an insight into who Sasha is. But you chose to tell us a story in order for us to get to know exactly who Sasha is. And you came across as somebody who was considerate and kind, taking us to this the story of the puppy. That puppy that you took care of up until, well, not the end, because now it's still there, but it recovered. What I liked about your speech was the coherence. It was very coherent. First you had a title which was like, oh, okay. It sounded like a movie, like the Hamlet and the P tree. So, okay. And the sweet pea. Yeah, I know there was a piece of it. So, Sasha, I enjoyed the content of your story. It was captivating. We were all listening to your story, wanting to know more. You kept us there. And also that it was chronological. And then when you got to the end, you then helped us to see why you chose the title. And also gave us a takeaway to say, as human beings, how we can relate that to the day-to-day life, So that's very important on the speech to say, as we speak, at the end of the day, what message do you want to convey? Sometimes we're selling goods, we want people to have a takeaway. So we did that very well. What I would like to see from you, another thing, you had your voice, even though you were speaking softly, but we could hear you, right? But in future, you can try to speak up again. The hand gestures, you were like this all the time, the whole time, until the end. The only time your hands parted was like 30 seconds. So unless you're keeping a bird in those hands, please try and open up. Or if you're not going to demonstrate a point, just keep your hands somewhere else, right? Then another thing was that you stood behind the podium and you reminded me of myself. I used to stand here because it's very comfortable, it's very safe here, nobody's gonna criticize you for anything because you are here behind the podium and you are reading. But unfortunately, that is good if you are a pastor. It's not in the formal churches, like your Anglican trying to stand behind the podium. But as a speaker, try and move away, engage us, stay away from the podium. Then the other, your language was flowing very well. Then also, you kept very good eye contact with your audience. And I was concerned that I'm sitting in front of you and making notes. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. But I could see you looking away at other people, and I liked that you were looking at other people. But the notes that you had as well took away your eyes at some point. I like the pace of your speech. You were very well paid. Unfortunately, I'm well beyond time, but this is an evaluation can I just take a minute. You paced yourself very well, and you had pauses. Pauses are very powerful. So at some point, I couldn't tell whether you are pausing because it's intentional or you are lost in your notes, and then now you can hear the silence, and now you're panicking. So I'm not sure, but pauses are quite powerful in a speech. Other than that, I'm giving you my intervention, and thank you very much for your
Thank you for that feedback, Tandeka. Next, we'll move on to our third evaluator. That would be Chrissy, and Chrissy was evaluating our very own president's speech. Chrissy, help me welcome Chrissy to the front.
Thank you.
Right, for this was speech, something under my bed. While for this one, I mean that speech, when I was sitting right there at the bed, you actually reminded me of my granddaughter. Like when I sit and read her stories, I mean, you can just tell she will be in a imaginary world, like totally lost in whatever speech she would be. That was something else, Tony. So I really liked how you expressed yourself, the use of the stage. I mean, we saw you didn't just stand at one spot, but you were you were using the entire stage with all the gestures. Like when you say someone tiptoed, I think, and once they stood by the door, I mean, it was all so well orchestrated. And then I also like the use of throwing in the also words. I mean, that just hit home. Like I was also reminded of my grandmother when she was also telling us stories. I mean, using our own language, of course, which is in the very part, throwing those closer words for this one, that was something else. And then the use of language, like there was, you used one word, euphorical. I thought that was a nice vocab. And yeah, and then also what I liked is that even after you forgot your lines, I mean, you kept composed. Like you didn't panic. You were just so composed until you find yourself back. Also, and the way you described the creature, I mean, I was trying to think what could it be? I mean, scary, fluffy creature. Like I also tried to think what could that be? And you kept us in suspense. I mean, we only got to find out what that creature was right at the end. I thought that was amazing. So it was, you are such a good storyteller, I must say. And then the areas of improvement, I don't know if it was just me who was so engrossed on the story, but the conclusion, I felt it was so abrupt, like it just ended and then off you went. Like I felt you didn't wrap it up nicely, at the end. It was just, we were just cut off just like that. Otherwise, thank you, Madam President, for such a speech.
Thank you very much, Christy, for the feedback on Tuliso's speech. Just confirming, Mr. Toastmaster, that you can still hear me.
Okay, go for it. Yep.
All right, perfect. Now we'll go on to our last evaluator, who will be giving some feedback on Matthew's speech. Please help me welcome Matthew to the front. Okay, it's not as funny the second time. I can see you guys are not smiling anymore. It's okay. All right, Matthew, your speech title, Reclaiming Conversation. The objective of your speech was to learn how to manage a difficult audience, and your difficult audience were the 4 disruptors that were delivering the speech. What I really loved, Matthew,
Matt, can I ask you to move to the other place? It seems to be breaking up quite a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna. Right. Oh. Oh, we lost him. Okay, I'll have to. Apologies for that, Matt. It looks like he has been logged off. We'll get you evaluated. Seems like we did lose him. Okay. No, I want to see how my question of disturbing that affected his performance. Oh. Okay, we are running out of time. This is my last book, The Servant. I don't know if anybody has actually seen this book before. The simple story about the true essence of leadership. And it's all about you people in government should actually be reading this book. Yeah. You people. It's all about, I read it a very long time ago. But it's all about we need as society, the people that actually make the money are the people that actually are handling the goods. And we need to be, as management, I'm assuming management, but we need to be supporting those individuals that are doing the work. And so it's not a matter of general structures, people are looking up to management for support, but it's no, we should be looking up at people performing works. We should be thinking, how do we help them? And that's the sentiment behind the book itself. We need to be, if you've got people below you, how do you help them ensure that they are executing their jobs most effectively without any hurdles or red tape? Okay. With that, I would like to wrap up our reports for today. Rafika, can you just tell us the final outcome of the table topics times? You can.
So for table topics, the speaker is given 2 minutes, and started with Kim, and she did 1 minute 20 seconds. So was 1 minute 12 seconds. I think I skipped the last time. And Tevin was 30 seconds. I was also 30 seconds with my first one. Lucy was 1 minute 2 seconds, and then for our evaluators, Matthew was 2 minutes 20 seconds. Tandeka 2 minutes 50 seconds, and Lucy was Tandeka was 4 minutes 27.
Yeah, there you go.
And Lucy was 2 minutes 50 seconds.
Each one is that's something curve. Lovely. So now I would like to welcome up the front. Caleb, you was up. Please, 1 to 2 minutes. Matters. Just make sure we stay within that.
Okay, so the fillers. So yeah, you went quick. So I think there was a few. I only heard one but there was like another 2 I wasn't sure what it. Sasha, I heard 2 souls. I think it's for your breaks. You really use the breaks, so I'm learning from the breaks. The breaks are working. Madam President, how do you pronounce your name? Poliswa. I didn't really hear any filler words from you at all. But I like that when you use the word maternal, your maternal I think it's your maternal grandparents. So usually when I speak, I say my grandparents from the mother side of it. So I'm like maternal, I was like, oh, maternal. Oh. So I like that word. Matthew, there was 2 souls, 1 but the ends. You want the number? I the first few minutes I was in your story. I was watching the discussions and I forgot to count, so it was a little bit more. The end is not on here, but I'm noticing that the ends I use as fillers in between. So I counted about 13 of them. That's the only filler that was really standing out there. And then Kim, 10 ums. And Tevin 1 so to 30 seconds.
Make the list. That's fantastic. to the front. Please welcome Tandeka as grammarian to the front. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster.
Okay.
Since I stole 2 minutes of the other time, I'm going to give a very quick report. The use of the word of the day was scrumptiously ignored. So, 3 people at least, including myself now, sorry, plus me, which is 4 now. So, once, and Sasha, once, and Matt. That one. Yeah, Matt, you used it.
You actually used it as well, but you weren't young.
No, it was during the break.
Yeah, but it was great in it.
Oh, okay. So, as you know,
Literally just finished food.
and then interesting words orchestrated, Chrissy, dysphoria, Koluswa, pivotal, proper, you said proper virus. Oh, so maybe nice words, but I also like that the saying, I'm scared all the time too, and who I love out the song, yeah, so that's it.
Smiling because it's one of those things in life. Brain works on, you might say something, but I'll only understand what you say is if I heard it before, or if I've understood it before. So if you say something that I don't actually understand, I just delete it. Okay, that's when someone goes like this, goes right over the head, exactly that. Do not understand you, I've never heard it before, I'm moving on. Like Afrikaans. Yeah. Matt?
I am here.
I want you to give us the evaluation of Matthew's speech, please, because it is an evaluation that is going to be value adding for us. So I think just leave off your camera, and if you can just make sure you're in that one spot, look like our window, that had good signal. But yeah.
All right,
you,
cool.
Matt.
All right, let's try that again. Matthew, reclaiming conversation. So Matthew, while listening to your speech, one of the things that I must first commend you for was your ability to remain calm throughout the presentation. The level of grief that Tuliswa and Tandeka were giving you, if I was in your position, I would have lost my temper completely. But you managed to calm them and diffuse the situation very nicely. So for your project, your ability to remain calm despite the disruptors, tick, well done. Areas for improvement that I would suggest. Firstly, when the audience is asking questions, after the first questions, I really liked that you said, okay, I love your question. Maybe let's look at that later at the end of this speech. I loved that you created a space and that awareness for the audience to let them know that questions will be reserved at the end, thus allowing you to deliver your presentation. However, I did notice that throughout the presentation, the questions kept coming up. An area for suggestion for improvement on how to handle those would be, as those questions come up, just keep reiterating to the audience that you will answer the questions later. One thing from your presentation that I felt kept influencing people to ask questions was when they changed their tactic and they started making comments. From their comments, you would then ask them a question, they would then answer it and ask you a follow-up question. And I felt like that was you giving them permission to continuously disrupt you and ask questions in your presentations. So for managing a difficult audience, just be mindful of how in answering or engaging the audience, you're encouraging them to disrupt you even more. The other thing that I would also suggest as an area of improvement would be how you diffuse the situation. For example, when Tandeka brought in a completely unrelated book, I think she mentioned Othello, and she was talking about how much she enjoyed your book. A great way to answer or engage the audience without making them feel like you are disregarding them would be, for example, I love that amazing book. We should chat about it later. You know what other book I enjoy? This one by Shirley. Again, directing the conversation back to the book we're presenting on. That way you you bring the attention back to the presentation while still continuing to acknowledge the audience. But overall, I thought you did really great at setting the scene. I thought you did really great at making the audience feel heard. And I thought your ability to manage the audience was spectacular. One last recommendation would be around your vocal variety. As you were delivering your speech, I felt you were a little bit too soft. When managing a difficult audience, I feel like when your voice is a bit too soft, it makes you lose your authority within that space. So moving forward, I would suggest increasing your vocal variety, not just so that the audience can hear you, but also so that you can have a greater authority while speaking. But overall, I'm looking forward to seeing your next speech, and I thought this one was really brilliant. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Matt, for that evaluation and all the other evaluators. The reason why I love that section is a matter of I put myself in the different people's shoes, and I'm like, oh, if I was that person, how do I improve? The evaluator gave me that input, and it is kind of like I've learned from other people's mistakes. So it's kind of like you can amplify your improvement just by actively listening to those changes. So yeah, the one thing that we actually didn't highlight about so-so speech, it was that the timekeeper, Rafiwa, I'm throwing you under the bus because you're not listening to me. She was using the table topics time frame, and it was a matter of actually also happened to Sasha, and it was a pretty much distracting situation. So said to me, he's like, I knew my speech, I timed it, that threw me off. So I actually cut my speech short because of that disturbance. I should have stuck to my guns. So lesson learned. Thank you for that lesson that you passed on to me. Yeah. So I do apologize. We have overshot the time for today, but for me, it has been very value adding, very scrumptious on every avenue. No, try it. Okay, cool. I am going to wrap it up. Madam President, I do apologize. I'm just cutting it, but maybe can I just open up the floor just to say, is anything that someone would like to bring up from coming up meetings? Just from my side, I will not be attending the next meeting. So we're going to be pushing pretty hard the next few days for role players. So apologies going forward. Okay.
How does this is happening? I'm just trying to understand how.
So we will be having one more meeting in December, which will probably be this dated the 9th of December. And then 2 weeks after that would be the 23rd. So depending on what type of holiday you want, some people would not want to be here. It's like self-improvements for January. Yeah. Okay. But with that, you will enjoy the meeting today. Please come join me at the front and we can take a little photo, but otherwise. No, we don't take a break. I'm going to Sydney, Australia. I'm going to try and get to a meeting somewhere there. It'll be fantastic. I'm going to try my best. But with that, we'd like to wrap up the meeting. Thank you guys. Enjoy. Yeah.
Max, gonna sit on ground waiting at it.
Please get the flag in place. Come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Snuggle. I love that position because I can just crop you out. Right? But I'm like that smile, I'm just gonna chop it down there. There we go. 3, 2, 1, cheese. Thanks, Matt, for smiling. Okay. I'll do that. You can't see your face, not in it. There you go. 1, 2, 3, cheese. What? Oh,